Hi guys, it's Willem here from Africa at TCG. Sorry, I have to excuse the terrible quality of the mic. I'm a poor South African. I can't afford a nice mic. But I just thought I'd give you guys a little bit of a, let's call it a teaser video for the Dark Ruler. Dark Ruler. Yo, can't even talk. The Dragon Ruler support that's coming out in Alliance Insight. So when I started playing the game, the two decks that were available were well, not available, but decent, were Blue Eyes, which I've already done a profile on, and Dragon Ruler, which was just hit on that banners before I started playing back in the end of 2013. So I never got to see the Dragon Rulers in full action, but yet I still played the deck. I played Hieratic Rulers, my brother played Mythic Rulers, which is like ruler control essentially. But just to get into the deck profile without wasting your time too much, we have triple Blaster, triple Tidal, triple Tempest, and the triple Redox. Now, if you guys know anything about Dragon Rulers, all these guys have different effects and they're all hard ones per turns for each effect. They were probably one of the first batches of cards in the game that have 3 effects on them. Which is insane back in 2013, 2012 when they came out. So Blaster is just like all of them can banish a monster with the same attribute or a dragon, or a mixture of the two from your graveyard or hand to special summon them from your hand or graveyard. They can all pitch themselves with a monster of the same attribute to perform a certain action. And also, once they're on the field and at the end of the next turn, they just bounce back to your hand. So you'll see Blaster, for instance, if you toss it with a fire, you get to pop a card on the field. Tidal with the water, you get to mill a monster. Then the Tempest is going to search any dragon. And then the Redox is basically a monster reborn. Now with the new support, they're giving us this guy, which is Spectre Dragon Ruler of Rays. So this guy, you pitch it with a light or dragon, and you add 2 dragon rulers from your monsters from your deck to hand. The other effect is decent in the grind game, where you can banish this and a light or a dragon monster, then special summon the corresponding Xyz from your graveyard. However, I've only used the first effect 9 times out of 10, and this thing is massive ash bait. But then you'll see why I'm playing an engineer to mitigate that possibly. Then you get the Nebulous. This one is just to discard it with a Dark or a Dragon, and then special summon specifically two of your banished Dragon Rulers with different attributes. But they can't attack, which is irrelevant. And the same effect as the light one, you can banish it to summon out the dark from your graveyard. Obviously, these two are also hard ones per turns. These guys actually do change the deck quite a bit. They give you extra extension, extra starters, everything like that. Basically, it makes the deck work. Now, to be quite honest, Dragon Rulers are a bit of a brickfest. They've always been a bit of a brickfest, but I mean, there's certain ways you can maybe try and mitigate that. So then obviously we're playing 1 each of the baby rulers. Now at the start I started playing these guys at 2 each, and I realized that it just doesn't make sense, because if they get ashed, it really does hurt. So yeah, but like I said, yeah, the burner is you pitch it with a dragon or a fire to special summon Blaster from your deck, but it cannot attack that turn. The same thing with the Steam, which is just pitching it with a water or dragon, you summon Tidal. Tempest, pitch it with a wind or a dragon, you get the Tempest. And the Reactant, you pitch it with a dragon or an earth. So these guys all just give you extension generally when, oh yeah, and the other effect I forgot to mention is all the Dragon Rulers, if they banish, they add a dragon with the corresponding attribute. So basically, the babies and the rulers themselves are searchable by themselves when they get banished. So that means you get a recurring resource loop from all of the dragon rulers, which means that obviously you get instant follow-up if they're in the graveyard. Basically, if you get all the rulers in your graveyard, you have a second hand for the next turn, which is just crazy. Also, just the thing is with this deck is you can technically play a bunch of Floodgates as well. So as you can see, the Dragon Rulers don't have effects on board. So a card like Skill Drain is pretty good in this deck. The only problem is, well, I mean, also like anti-spell, because you don't play any spells. You can play Gozen because they're all dragons. You can't play Rivalry, you can't play Tikaboo. So you're going to have to make some adjustments on that in the side deck if you're going to play this deck in the future. However, this deck does hard lose to Lancia, and a bit to Shifter, but to Lancia and Droll specifically. So maybe Konami can be nice and address one of those maybe, just to mitigate some of the losing factors of this deck. So obviously, since I've mentioned that they're all different attributes and they can all pitch monsters with different attributes, that obviously plays into your hand trap lineup. So in this deck, obviously if you can see Fuelos is there. I don't own Fuelos in real life, but if you do have it, you can basically put it in. If you don't have it, you can maybe replace it with Ghost Mourner, which would do obviously not the same thing, but it is still a wind, which is quite nice. So you can see we've got the triple nib and the triple veiler. So those are lights that you could, if you don't use them, to pitch with the Spectre to add two dragon rulers with different names from your deck to your hand. Obviously, you can side out the different hand traps if you'd like, but these are the two light targets that I chose to play. The Bestials, in my opinion, are a no-brainer because they're dragons and the extenders. They get you into all your plays, which is pretty good. And then also Fuelos, like I said, is a wind. Usually if you draw the Fuelos going first, you can't do anything with it, but in this deck, obviously if you have the baby title or the, not title, we look at, if you draw the Tempest or the baby Tempest, you can pitch it with this. Like I said, you can play the Ghost Mourner as well, which is basically like an extra effect veiler, but that's also a wind. And then the Ash is obviously just Ash, but you can also pitch it for the Burner or the Blaster to pop a card. So that plays into the deck nice. But then obviously you'll see that there's a different engine here. So I at first tried to play the Rose Dragon engine. Now don't get me wrong, these cards do give you a Dark Tuner and allow you to go into level 10 Synchros. These could be the Dispatter, the Armed Genix Return Zero guy, and then also the Chenying, which is pretty great. It's just that I thought that it doesn't give the deck enough stopping power, so I took them out and I exchanged them for the quote-unquote Galaxy-Tachyon engine. So firstly you'll see it's the three, let's see if my Afrikaans can help me to pronounce a German name, Schwarzschild Infinity Dragon. I hope I didn't butcher that. So it says if you control no monsters or your opponent controls a monster with 2k or more attack, you can special it from your hand, and if you do, special a light or dark dragon from your deck in defense, except themselves, and then negate that monster's effects. You are locked into summoning only dragon type Xyz from the extra deck for that turn. But the thing is that doesn't really matter. And the reason why, okay, so let's just talk about the targets first, those being the Galactic Spiral Dragon. This guy, if he's in your hand or grave and you control two or more light or dark dragon monsters, you can just special summon it, but it gets banished when it leaves the field. And in your main phase, you can turn all the monsters you control to level 8, obviously helping with rank 8 plays. On top of that, it's also a dragon you can pitch with any of your babies to get the effects. So essentially what you do is you go Schwarzschild and you summon out the Galactic Spiral. So then you would go into your Galaxy-Tachyon. So your Galaxy-Tachyon is obviously a dragon type. So it just takes 2 level 8s. When it's special summoned, you can add 1 Galaxy or Tachyon card from your deck to your hand. That is the most relevant effect. And then you can detach 2 materials to summon a dragon type Xyz with 3k or more attack from your extra deck by using this card you control as material. And then you can attach a Galaxy Xyz from your extra deck to it as an additional material. I usually don't attach the additional material, but that lets me go into the Tachyon Dragon. This guy is just going second. He's a big beat stick that negates everything, which is pretty good. However, the reason why you're playing this engine is because Galaxy-Tachyon actually searches out a Galaxy or Tachyon card, which is the Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Primal. So this guy, when a dragon Xyz declares an attack, you can attach it on the field to this material. I don't think I've ever used that effect, but if the important effect is if a dragon Xyz is on the field, quick effect, you can special this from your hand to either side of the field, and if it's normal, specially add a Tachyon Speller Trap from your deck to your hand. The reason why we're doing that is because you can add the Tachyon Transmigration, which is if you control a Galaxy Eyes monster, you can activate as Channeling 2 or higher, negate the activations of your opponent's spell trap cards or monster effects activated before this chain, and if you do, shuffle the targeted cards on the field into the deck. And if you control specifically Tachyon Dragon, you can activate it from your hand. So you guys can see that you can basically make an anti-nib combo in this deck while still passing on a Tachyon with a Transmigration, and then you can use your, because you detach two materials, you can summon back your Galactic Spiral because you're going to control a light dragon, another light dragon, so then you have another rank 8 that you can make. So you can make your Harbinger, which is obviously a spell negate and a battle redirection. That all happens from one effect, meaning you get to play through Nib, you get to stop Ash, you have a spell negate on the board, and at the start of the battle phase, this guy just negates all monsters currently on the field, except himself, and then basically all the attacks and defense go back to the original. And also if you activated this effect a turn and your opponent activates a card to effect, then this card just gains 1000 attack until the end of the battle phase and can attack twice. So if your opponent is stupid enough to activate an effect in the battle phase, this card gets stupid big. But yeah, the reason why I'm playing the Galaxy engine is because it actually gives you a out to nib or I don't know, Ash on the wrong place, or Vela in the wrong place, or Imperm in the wrong place, or stuff like that. And if they don't have a hand trap, you have a spell negate and an omni negate for your going first board. So let's just go through the extra deck as well. So it's always going to be one Zeus. Obviously, you play an Xyz deck. You are dragon locked, but sometimes you're not, so you can just go for Zeus to clear the board. Then you have the Typhon, which is just obviously in certain matchups, Typhon is insane. Okay, so I've already spoken about these three guys. Obviously, they are your anti-nib and a spell negate combo. Then you have the Chasmatis, the Dragon Ruler of Auroras. This guy is super important. He takes 2 level 7 dragons. So it's a quick effect to send a level 7 Dragon Ruler from your deck to grave and detach a material from this card. And this effect just copies the effect that you milled. So the discard effect. So for instance, you can use any of the big Dragon Ruler effects as a quick effect, meaning in your turn and your opponent's turn. So you can get a free Pop, you can get a free Reborn, a free Foolish, or a free Search. And you can use this on both turns, which is insane, because when you go first, you use one that's beneficial to you, and then going into the next turn, you can just dump a Blaster and just pop a card on the field. So it essentially becomes a Trident that also searches you a card. And then obviously if it's destroyed by your opponent's god effect, you can just summon a Dragon Ruler from your grave or banishment. That it could come up, but I mean it's just there. Then you have Eclipses, the Dragon Ruler of Woes. So this guy on Xyz summon just targets a level 4 or lower Dragon Ruler in your graveyard or banishment. Special a level or rank 7 Dragon Ruler mentioned on it from your deck or banishment. Then shuffle that target into the deck. So this recycles your babies. And it also just gives you another level 7 on the board. This guy is a really good extender. On top of that, you can detach as a quick effect 2 materials from this card to negate the activation of a spell or trap effect. And if you do, banish that card. So this is just really, really good when you're going first and your opponent tries to throw board breakers at you, or going second. You can just make this guy if you believe they have an Imperm or whatever. Then we're playing the one Disaster, Dragon Ruler of Paranormalities. This guy takes 2 rank 7s, and if it's Xyz summon, you target up to 4 level 7 Dragon Rulers in your graveyard or banishment attached to this card as material. Then you can banish monsters your opponent controls and in their graveyard with the same attributes of the monsters that are attached to this card. So you can see essentially that you're basically going to use your light and your dark Xyz, summon this guy, get your fire, water, wind, and earth. So essentially this banishes everything that they have on board and in grave, so you're messing up their follow-up, you're messing up their board as well. And on top, so this is just a great going second option. On top of that, if this has light, dark, earth, water, fire, and wind, so all the attributes of Dragon Rulers attached to it, it gains 46 attack and defense, and it's also unaffected by other card effects. So it's just a massive towers that just banishes the whole board and the graveyard. This card is stupid good going second. Then we play the Blaze, Supreme Ruler of all dragons. So this guy just takes 2 level 7s, you detach a material, destroy 2 cards, 1 from your hand or your field and 1 your opponent controls. And then when it's in the graveyard, you can banish 2 fire and or dragon monsters from your hand or grave, and then just special summon from your graveyard, and then just bounce it back to the extra deck when it leaves the field. So this guy is just almost like a scrap dragon in a sense that recycles itself. Then for time reasons, obviously you play the flame metal. This guy is just a burn card and it can't be destroyed by card effects while it has material. Then you play this guy whose name I'm not daring to pronounce because I will butcher it into oblivion. He's essentially just a quick effect detached to pop a card on the field. And it's a quick effect because it usually has, or always has, 2 dragon type monsters underneath it as materials in this deck. It's just another end board option. Usually you'll see if you play out some hands, you can end on this with the rest of your end board. Then just the SP, this is just for generic removal. And then in the 1 speckled eggs, this guy, obviously you can make it in certain combos when you're not Xyz locked. And also this guy is just obviously really good. Sometimes seals passes all you need. So another topic to mention before I show you 2 quick combos with this deck is that obviously you can see this guy can detach to copy the title effect to mill a monster, but also in your opponent's turn you can use the quick effect to copy your redox effect. So this means that you can do some really degenerate stuff post side if you know you're going first. So essentially what you can do is you can mill any monster in the game, and then you can use title to reborn any monster. So for instance, against a deck like Malice, you can mill a Lancia, special summon it with the redox effect, and then tribute it. Neither player can banish for the rest of the turn. Then you can get the Chaos Hunter as well. Obviously it just means your opponent can't banish, which is probably even better. Then you get the Christia, which means that neither player can special summon. I really just don't like this option just because it prevents you from summoning as well, but once you've already established your board should be good enough to just OTK on the follow-up. So this is basically like doing the disgusting branded lock. And then you get the Quackimero Drago. This guy is just a dragon as well, so it's obviously it just fits into the what do you call it? Into the type of deck you're playing, but it also says neither player can special summon light or darks. Generally, that shouldn't be an option, shouldn't be a bother. Although the one problem is you basically only play light and dark dragons in your extra deck, except for the Blaze. But then you can just link it all for the erratic seal or the SP, and then you can just continue playing, which means you just lock out your opponent. There are a number of other options that I haven't looked at yet, although you can basically do whatever you want. I mean, you can even play an Albaz engine in this deck to get a quick super poly on your opponent's turn, which is quite decent. I just thought that I don't think that is completely necessary. Okay, so with the explanations out of the way, I'm just going to show you 2 quick combos. Ignore all my names here. You can see I'm working on many. So let's just do the first combo. So this is just going to be the light, the Spectre plus any dragon type. You could technically do this, I believe, with any light monster as well, but I prefer doing it with the dragon just so you have the extra, what do you call it, the extra dragon to banish for your ruler effects. So this obviously plays into all hand traps. So you're going to pitch that and the ruler, and you're going to search a ruler plus a baby, but you're going to search 2 of different attributes. And you generally don't want to get Tempest here or Tidal. You prefer going for these 2 because these 2 generally don't influence the play that much. So next you're going to go the Burn effect to summon the Blaster. Now you're going to activate the Redox effect in Graveyard to banish 2 Dragon Rulers. You want to banish a baby here because you're going to recycle the baby and summon something from deck. So that's the reason why you go for that. So then you just go into the Light Xyz, you're going to detach and you're going to mill your Tempest, which is then going to add your Nebulous, the one that summons from banished. Then you're going to activate the Blaster because you haven't summoned the Blaster or used one of its effects this turn yet. So you're going to banish your Tempest that you sent and haven't activated the effect yet. and you're going to banish the random dragon that you had. So that is obviously going to get you to summon out the blaster. Now obviously on that your Tempest is going to trigger to search any wind dragon type monster, and that's just going to search another copy of Tempest. You can search the baby if you want to, you can search any wind dragon in the game if you want to. Then you can pitch the dark baby, the Nebulous. I probably shouldn't say dark baby, but the yeah, and then he's going to special summon 2 dragon rulers with different names from your banish zone. So that's going to summon out the light baby and and the Tempest as well. So now you've got a rank 7 going, and this is where you're going to go for the Dark Xyz. This guy's just going to target the burner, shuffle it into the deck, and then summon a blaster from your deck. As you can see, then you just go into your speckled eggs, and this is pretty much your end board for this combo. So you've got a quick effect where you can use it to send a blaster or a Redox to reborn or whatever. So you can see this as a destroy 1 card on the field. You've got a spell and trap negate, and then you've got your speckled eggs, which basically summons out any dragon, and you bounce a card on the field. So yeah, that is the 1 combo. It's pretty decent in my opinion, but it loses to a lot of hand traps. So generally you try and bait as much as you can before you go for this combo, if you have anything to bait. Then I'm just going to show you the Galaxy combo on its, like, in how you would play the deck. So you can see I've put in the normal 2-card combo, but I'm just adding it the Schwarzschild Infinity Dragon. I'm saying that as German as possible. So we're going to use that if we're going to see now. So you're going to use its effect to special, use its effect to summon the Galactic Spiral from your main deck. Your third summon is going to be the Galaxy-Tachyon. On summon it's going to add you the Galaxy-Tachyon Primal. So because you control a dragon type Xyz, you special summon that guy, get your transmigration. So now you go for your Galaxy-Tachyon effect and you make the Tachyon. So that was your 4th and your 5th summon. So your 5th summon, you already have the Tachyon transmigration in hand. So if they want to nib you here, you can just negate it. Then because you have the Galactic Spiral engraved because the Galaxy-Tachyon detached 2, you can summon that out because you control 2 light dragon type monsters. So you can just, well, in this combo I'm just going to wait, but usually you could just make the, what do you call it, the Xyz that negates the spells, Harbinger. But in this combo I'm just going to go for the burner effect, pitching your ruler, and you're going to go for your normal combo as you would. So you're going to see we're going to do the same stuff as we did before. You mill your Tempest, you get the Dark Baby, you banish the Tempest, and you get another Tempest. You're going to pitch those to summon 2, and you're going to make your Eclipses. You're not going to use the effect of Eclipses here because you don't have a baby in the banish zone. And the reason why you don't also want to activate the effect is then you're going to be stuck with a level 7, which I mean you could technically do if you do like. I mean, it just, you can recycle that. It's just either or, it doesn't actually make a lot of difference. But then you can just special summon the Galactic Spiral Dragon because you control 3-4 light or dark dragon type monsters on the field. And then you can just activate the Galactic Spiral Dragon effect to make all monsters you control level 8, and then you end on your Hope Harbinger. So this combo ends on, you just essentially just lose the seals, but you get an Omni Negate and a Spell Negate and an Attack Redirection, which means this combo plays through nib, plays through certain hand traps, and also you just get a lot more disruption and some big monsters on the field. So this is just, in my opinion, the best way to do it. But yeah, if you guys have any recommendations when it comes to the deck, I mean, you guys can give me some pointers if you'd like in the comment section below. I really enjoy this deck, but I know it's not going to be as good, but I just thought I'd show you guys. Yeah, once again, apologize for the quality of the mic. My Bokke are running low at the moment. Obviously we call our currency Bokke in South Africa. Lying, it's only rands, but in any case. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and comment, like, subscribe, share it with your friends if you'd like. And yeah, that's going to be me, Willem from Africa TCG. Shanana, bro.